Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Journal of a Female CEO. For our new friends joining this channel, my name is Ejibola Adetokunbotayo, a banker turned entrepreneur. But my friends call me the Retail Queen. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the lessons I've learned running my businesses. I run 3 businesses right now, but I started my journey into entrepreneurship while I was at the bank. Yes, while I was still doing my 9 to 5. I started with my leather bags, but I was selling them through retail stores that were in town. And then one day, some of my colleagues saw my leather bags at the boutique. They came back excited and they were like, Ejibola, we saw your bags at that boutique. Is that yours? It's got your name on it. I had to tell them, yes, that's my brand and that's my product. But guess what? My director had me fill out an OBA immediately, an outside business activity form. I had to complete that. Why? Because the bank wanted to understand the kind of business I was into, whether there was any conflict of interest, whether it was going to take my time, whether it was going to distract me from my work. I had to complete the OBA form. That is something you want to keep in mind that could happen anytime to you while you're running your 9 to 5 and you're also running your business. See, trust me, it can be very distracting. Still having your 9 to 5 and running a business, it can really reduce your performance because you're thinking of your business, you're thinking of work. Sometimes while at work, you can receive messages from your vendor or a supplier that wants you to scan something to them urgently, that wants you to fax something to them immediately, or you need to send an immediate international wire. All of this is going to distract you. It's going to take away your attention from work, and you really want to be all in when you're starting a business. Honestly, you want to give it your very best. You want to take control of the different areas that need your attention 9 to 5. But guess what? As an entrepreneur, you don't work 9 to 5. We work 9 till clockwise. In your dreams, you are working. In your dreams, you are thinking of business. While sleeping, you are thinking of that contract. You're thinking of that email. You're thinking of checking that order. Never leave your 9 to 5 when you are not ready to run your business 100%. Something else you should put into consideration, you want to make sure that you can keep a balance between family and your work. Is there ever a balance? Can you ever have a balance between family and work? Not really. Honestly, not really. I don't know who has done that, but there is always a sacrifice to you starting that business. So, before you start thinking of leaving your 9 to 5, before you start thinking of starting that business, understand that you need to work really well to almost balance family and work. Giving time to your children, to your spouse, it's very essential. You do not want to miss out from any family memories. You do not want to miss out from any family events. You want to have time with your family to go to that restaurant, to eat out, to go to the cinemas, to attend your daughter's basketball game, a swimming lesson, a piano lesson. Those are precious moments you do not want to miss, and you do not want anybody to tell you. You really want to be there to record those memories yourself. You really want to be there to feel that moment along with your kids, with your husband. So create that time when you're starting that business plan, when you're deciding to start that business. Please factor in that you need to enjoy the journey. Don't stress on the journey. Yes, don't stress on the journey. Enjoy that moment. Enjoy your business and enjoy your family. Whatever you cannot get done today can always wait till the next day. One thing that I do is when I wake up, the most important my top five, my top five most important to do. Those are the things I get done early in the morning, and when I close at 6 and I can't get the rest done, I move them to the next day. Because I really want to now spend time with my family. But then, are there situations where I had to take work home and I had to work from home? Oh yes, but I make sure that I still spend time with my family. We watch the TV together. I don't miss Dragon's Den with them. I don't miss Shark Tank with them. There are special programs like the Jeopardy, the Wheel of Fortune, that we as a family, we sit down together and we watch. I do not want to miss those times. So after everybody had gone to bed and I have those extra work to do that are really, really important, I get up and I go to a quiet place to get it done. But I try not to miss my family time. So that is something you need to keep into consideration when you want to start a business, or perhaps you already have a business and you're so stressed out and you don't know what to do. You might want to take that tip of still taking work home, but making sure you attend to those work after you attend to your family. Another lesson I learned through this journey of being an entrepreneur is naming your business. Giving your business the right name can be very challenging. Giving a name is the first thing I would recommend for anyone wanting to start a business. Finding a name that aligns with the core of your business is key. For instance, when you hear the name Staples, you directly or indirectly know what that company is all about. Once you find one name that resonates so well with your brand, I would advise that you trademark it immediately, right away, so that it can become yours. Through my coaching services, one of the things that I find is that I see a lot of entrepreneurs. There was this particular entrepreneur that had to change a business name after operating for over a year. Why? She went to the patent lawyer that I recommended for her because she wanted to trademark, and that was when she discovered that there was another bigger company with the same name operating in North America. They are bigger, they've been operating for over 15 years, and their products are all over on Amazon, big box stores, everywhere. They even have one of their products in the brand name. There was nothing she could do. The lawyer recommended that she had to have a name change. It took a while for her to get a perfect name to resonate with her business vision and mission. But she still got the right one at the end of the day. So one thing I would always recommend is make sure that you have a perfect business name before you start that business, before you start that company, so you don't end up starting all over again. Another lesson that I've noted in my journal is understanding the economic situation. What's going on in the country? When there is an economic instability, I need to understand how that affects my industry, how that affects the big box stores that I have my product in, how that affects the consumers that would be buying and using my product. I visit the stores, and when I see a lot of red tags, a lot of sales and clearance, then I know there is something going on. Then I listen to the news the more to understand what consumers are facing. Understanding what's going on in the country or in your industry, or the policy, the new rules that have been implemented out, makes you to guard your brand effectively, and it helps you particularly in production, so that you do not produce large amounts of inventory when there is a ban already. For example, when the government banned, plastic, people had to move into something like, wooden straws. You do not want to, that is not the time you have to produce mass plastic straws. No, you really want to be in the know and know the timeline they've given, the deadline for those kind of policies, so that you also can effect that change within your company. If you do not understand the economic situation, if you do not understand what's going on in your industry, you might be taking your brand down the hole. Because when people are not buying, when that sales conversion is not coming in, there is no revenue to operate your brand. Get in the know of what's going on within the country. Get in the know of what's going on within your industry, your category. Know what's going on so that you can operate your brand effectively. I played all the roles as a startup, from managing money in the account to making sure orders were well shipped out to making sure that I packaged the orders nicely and to the right person, to looking after inventory and distribution. I was also involved in offshore manufacturing and in and outbound logistics. I was everything. So in the first 3 years of you starting a business, you will play all the roles. I tell you, you will play all the roles. Why? Because you want to keep expenses down. So knowing this ahead of time makes you to plan appropriately before you start your business or while you're trying to grow your brand. Another lesson for me growing my brand is, in today's world of sameness, you really want to make sure that you're communicating your brand value proposition appropriately, that it is well spelled out on your product, on your website, and on your social media platform. You're using the same language messaging and it's not confusing for anyone to understand. You want your client to pick up your product or read about your service and be able to understand at a glance what your brand is all about and what sets you apart from the rest. Something else you want to take into consideration before you leave your 9 to 5 to start that business is to understand the market you want to play at, when you want to get into that market, and you need to understand the market persona, the client persona that you want to serve. For instance, at the beginning of you having that idea to start a business, you need to understand, where do I want my product to be at? Do I want my product to be in Walmart? Do I want my product at the end of the day to get into Sephora or Indigo? Knowing this will help you in your product pricing, because there is a lot that goes into you having your product selling on your website and you having your product selling in store. There is a lot of cost implication to each of this method. The first one is not as expensive as the second one, because getting your product on your website, it's just you posting those products online, people buying in and you shipping it out. But when you start thinking of being a partner with Walmart, with Sephora, with Indigo, it comes with a lot of responsibility on your own part. The store might require that you have a commercial general liability, for example. That costs money. They might require that you bring in your own shelving to stock your own product. That is another expenses. So you understanding from the get-go, from the start, the kind of market you want to get into, the kind of market you want to play at, the kind of shelf you want for your product is very, very important for you to do the pricing right, get the pricing right, and get your product positioning perfect. You want to do this at the very beginning because you don't want surprises. You don't want anything that would kill your dream. Because by the time you start connecting with the buyers, by the time you start connecting with those big box stores that you've always dreamt about, and then you discover, oh my goodness, I need to have this commercial general liability of maybe 5 million or 10 million. Knowing this information helps you to price your product right, because pricing can make or break your brand. You need to make sure that you've incorporated all that is needed. The amount you pay for your barcoding, the amount you pay for the insurance, the amount you pay even for storage, because by the time you start thinking of getting into a Sephora, for example, or Indigo or Walmart, you want to mass produce. Where are you going to keep the inventory? Knowing all of this and the cost implication helps you in getting ready, helps you to prepare right, helps you to start and to grow that business effectively the way it should be done. Another thing to consider is knowing the right channel to maximize the opportunity for your product. You have lots of choices. You need to do your research, know where to focus your sales effort. Not all shelf is the right shelf for your product. It's good to reduce risk and diversifying the shelving opportunity. Explore the shelf you didn't consider before. You might be surprised that that particular shelf that you're not putting into consideration might turn out to be the best choice for your product. Another lesson for me was the fact that I got a lot of no's than yeses at the very beginning when I was deciding the right sales channel to put my product in. I approached a lot of buyers and I got no's from them, and I was asking myself, why wouldn't they put my product on the shelf? Why wouldn't they say yes to my product? Which is a common question that every startup would ask every time. I had to sit back, and then I realized I needed to start proving to them what the benefit is for their store, what I'm going to do to put behind my product to make them sell, what's in it for them, the benefits. The benefits would always be the revenue, trust me, because they also want to put a selling product on the shelf, a selling product that would increase sales, that would bring in more income for them. So I started asking myself, is my product in the right packaging for people to see me well on those shelves? Is my design, does it look good? Does my design look compelling for anyone to even pick up and be interested in, right? So those are the things that I had to make sure that I work on. And guess what? When I did all of that and I approached the same buyers, they came back and said, Ejibola, you are on fire. There is so much difference from when we met 6 months ago and now. What happened to you? Now you are at par with the big brands. And that was exactly what I wanted, because that's what they want to know. There are lots of yogurt on the shelf. What makes yours different? There are lots of cereals on the shelf. What makes your own cereal special? There are lots of notebooks on the shelf. What would make a client, a customer who walks into those stores, pick up yours from the shelf than the competitor? You have to sit down and draw that out, envision it right from the beginning and work at it. Before you leave that 9 to 5, you also want to think ahead. How do people work with manufacturers? How do people get their product design done? How do people get their packaging right? How do people actually speak and pitch their product to all the stores when they start their business? You want to do that because that is what is going to make you run very fast, very quickly. You want to sit down with someone that has done it before. You want to talk to somebody that is in your category, your industry, somebody that can be a mentor to you. When I started, I didn't have a mentor to look up to or to speak with because I'm in stationaries and gift items. I didn't see someone that looks like me already doing that. So it was me practically working on my own, doing stuff on my own. But guess what? I had to attend a lot of coaching sessions. I had to attend a lot of master classes. You need that too, because you want to get all the information you need to kick the ground running. You want the right information from the right source. So attending master classes, signing up for programs like the Sedulous Women Leaders, I Launch Our Product is a great way to understand the requirement of what would set you apart when you start your business, or how you can start your business in such a way that the right structure is put in place. You don't want to do trial and error. You don't want to spend too much money on trials. You really want to spend the money in the right place, doing the right thing for the right purpose. So sign up for coaching, mentorship, and get the right training from the right organization so that you do not go round in circle. Now let's talk about manufacturing. Manufacturing can be a nightmare. Yes, it can be a nightmare. I would advise that before you put your money into and approve any design for mass production, always ask for a sample to be made for you, sent to you. Check it for any irregularities. Give it out to people to look at, to advise you whether the packaging or the product is perfect enough for mass production. Make sure that you even send it out to maybe a big box store buyer or a boutique or an independent retailer to look at the product and ask them, is that the kind of product they would love to have on their shelf? If you get positive responses, that is when you should push your mass production. You don't want to mass produce and all your inventory ends up in the garbage. You don't want to mass produce and all your inventory are in the store, wasted, nobody buying it, or no big box store accepting it on their shelf just because you did not meet regulatory requirements, or the nutritional factor are not properly done, or the label is not placed right, or the packaging is just all over the place. Manufacturing can make or break you. You want to get it right. So get started by first researching who is the best manufacturer, whether in Canada or international, that should be producing your product, and make sure that you have a sample sent out to you before you push out for mass production. Another thing about mass production, particularly when you manufacture international, is the fact that when they ship out such mass production to you, you need to consider the space that you're going to store this inventory at. You know, when I started doing mass production, I was surprised at the very things that I needed to put in place. I needed to rent equipment. I needed to get somebody to operate the equipment. I needed to get an equipment that will pick up the pallets from the trailer, bring it down and into my space. It was a lot. Those were money that I did not put into consideration. Those were money that I did not account for. My journal was full of everything. I was calling up all the logistics company in Grand Prairie just to understand who can help me offload from the truck, because the truck driver that was bringing my inventory said they wouldn't do that. It doesn't come with, that big truck, because it was like, I believe it was 57 foot long. It was that long of a trailer. So they called me a day before that your product is landing in Grand Prairie next day, but you need to have your staff on ground to get those products down. I was calling every company I knew. I didn't know this before. I didn't know. If not, I would have planned ahead. So if you're going mass production, this is something that you want to consider. Will the trailer have that capacity to bring out your pallets down and into your space, your storage space? Will they have people to help you do that? If not, you have to put the budget to it, the people, the equipment, even paying the insurance of that person that will be bringing down that product and into your space. It's very important. Mass production comes with its own expenses and, so many things attached to it. Whether you're starting now or you're already started your business, you need to start considering the kind of people you want to bring on board as your team members. Your team members can make or break you. You don't want to employ someone and the person that has the key to the whole of your business, and then one day they leave you and they take the key with them, leaving you stranded, not knowing how to get in. You need to know those you're bringing on board. You, as the CEO and founder, needs to understand every stage of your business too. You can't just have one person who knows everything in a particular department. For example, logistics. You hire someone in logistics and that person is the only one that has the key to the Canada Post account, the UPS account, the DHL account, the password and everything. That one person is the only one that knows how you put stuff together and ship them out. When that person leaves, you get stranded. So you need to know every aspect of your business, every department. You don't need to know every department 100%, but have an understanding of what goes on within that department. Do a day in the life of the accounting department. Do a day in the life of the legal department. Spend a day there. Learn what they do each and every day. Be on ground to know what goes on in your business, because if one person leaves and takes that key with them, you're stranded. Before you leave that 9 to 5, I want you to know that it can be very lonely at the top as a CEO, because by the time you start operating as the founder, CEO, and the leader, everybody depends on you. So put that into consideration before you start that business and work out what needs to be done when you start and how you're going to balance life, how you're going to balance the business and your family time. We've come to the end of another Journal of a Female CEO, one of the Ejibola series on the Ejibola YouTube channel. Do me a huge favor, please subscribe, share this video, like, comment, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Dream bigger.